Surprise! Steve Ballmer owns a chunk of Twitter. Is JayZ bringing Tidal to Samsung? iOS 9 adoption rates are off the chain, and a lot more. It's Friday, October 16th, and this is Crunch Report. Former Microsoft CEO Steve Ballmer, he's a delicate, soft-spoken man who now owns the Los Angeles Clippers, disclosed this morning that he also owns a chunk of Twitter. 4% of Twitter, in fact, which is worth about $830 million at Twitter's current valuation of $20.76 billion. Ballmer shared the news, appropriately via a tweet, and then confirmed its authenticity to Bloomberg directly. Ballmer specifically mentioned Twitter's new Moments product, which launched earlier this month and centers around big stories on Twitter, specifically for newbies or people who want to keep up. Shares of Twitter were up around 3% this morning after trading opened on the news, eventually rising 4.85% today, closing at $31.15 per share. The company laid off 8% of its staff earlier this week, and before that, it selected co-founder Jack Dorsey as permanent CEO and announced a new executive chairman, Omid Kordestani. TechCrunch reached out to Twitter, which said it had no comment on the disclosure from Ballmer. And in the open source corner, we don't talk about open source enough, but let's change that today. Open source enterprise software giant Red Hat, it's making its 14th acquisition with Ansible, an IT automation solutions specialist that helps companies build and manage hybrid IT deployments across the cloud and on-premise solutions. I know, that's the sexiest thing you've ever heard on Crunch Report before. A source close to the deal tells TechCrunch that the price is close to $150 million, but Red Hat is declining to disclose the exact price. But it should close this month. Ansible is based out of Santa Barbara, California, was founded back in 2013, but had only raised $6 million, so this seems like a pretty good exit for the team. Ansible's areas include managing apps across private and public clouds, speed delivery service through DevOps, OpenStack installation and upgrades, and simplifying orchestration and configuration. That's according to Red Hat. The company also says the acquisition shouldn't have much material impact to its revenue for the third and fourth quarters of its fiscal year. Good luck, everybody. File this next one under serious speculation, because that's what it is, but rapper and Tidal music streaming service owner JayZ had a meeting in Samsung's Silicon Valley office on Wednesday with a number of executives, including Darren Sui, Samsung's Senior Vice President of Content and Services, which includes music services. This is all according to Variety. Now, a meeting doesn't mean anything. Meetings are just meetings. But consider that Samsung's streaming service Milk Music, which hasn't gotten much traction, runs operations out of that same building where JayZ met the execs. Earlier this year, the rapper acquired Tidal for a reported $56 million, then relaunched the service in March with more attractive revenue deals for musicians and higher quality streams for customers. Samsung is reportedly shutting down Milk Music in November, so could a Samsung-owned Tidal represent another go of it? I said it was speculatory. That's all it is. Everybody loves iOS 9, or at least most people are accepting it, according to analytics and marketing firm Localytics, which says iOS 9 adoption is now a majority at 55%. That's a little higher than the 50% adoption rate that Apple officially announced last month, which was less than a week after iOS 9 went live, so that's pretty good. In fact, in the first 24 hours, it had a 12% adoption rate, which is a record for iOS. However, things do seem to be slowing down. 47% of users upgraded to iOS 9 in the first 2 weeks, but then only 8% moved to iOS 9 in the next 2 weeks. Bugs like lock screens and crashes, some cell access issues, I had a few of those, other issues may have kept some folks away. As for region, iOS 9 had the fastest uptick in Europe, with Germany, Turkey, and Italy all above 60%. Now, the all-important Chinese market is a little different, though. Only 36% of Chinese iOS owners have upgraded at this time. In other iOS news, Apple just released major updates for Pages, Keynote, and Numbers, that's its iWORK suite, on all of its platforms. So that's iOS, OS X, and even iCloud.com, where the beta tag, you will notice, has been removed. On iOS, Pages and Keynote and Numbers now work with split view, slide over, and picture-in-picture on the iPad, which is great. You can also now comment and browse version history from your browser and see shared documents in your smartphone browser. Those are just a few of the changes. Theranos founder Elizabeth Holmes is on the defensive, and it's obvious why. A scathing report in the Wall Street Journal claimed that her company was struggling with results of its blood test technology, that some results were off, way off, and that Theranos was only using its technology for 15 tests, but was outsourcing most of the 240 total tests that it offers to other machines from outside manufacturers. Holmes appeared on stage at Disrupt SF last year to showcase the technology behind the claim that the company can detect anything from cancer to diabetes, even HIV, with just a single drop of blood. A statement on Theranos' website denies that the claims of inaccuracies are true, saying, quote, "Today's Wall Street Journal story about Theranos is factually and scientifically erroneous and grounded in baseless assertions by inexperienced and disgruntled former employees and industry incumbents." Ouch. Theranos has gotten a lot of attention not only because its current valuation is a staggering $9 billion, but also has made Holmes the youngest female billionaire in the United States. Since the Wall Street Journal's report, Theranos has admitted it caved under regulatory pressure from the Food and Drug Administration and has stopped collecting drops of blood for all but one of its tests. In an interview yesterday, Holmes told Bloomberg, "We've been transitioning to the FDA system voluntarily. As of right now, we're only using it for the one test." Hopefully Theranos gets this all figured out pretty soon. Doesn't look good right now. That is the report for today. I'm Sarah Lane. Crunch Report airs every weekday at 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific, right here on TechCrunch.com, or on iTunes, or on YouTube, or on Facebook. We're all over the web. We'll see you on Monday.